We have an interesting topic today, small towns and big cities. I think you'll be able to share ideas in this topic. Small towns and big cities. If I ask you, what would be your preference? For example, if you get a chance to either live in a small town or a big city. So basically, in both of like that, because I read an article the other day. They said that in Delhi, your grocery will be delivered via drones, and that's quite scary.
Not safe actually, because what if the
Not
drone
safe, yeah. Many
and you are
videos
just
of Dubai.
no.
I think you should see because I think that's what you call a smart city because the way they have planned everything, it's beautiful. Hi, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Welcome to the session. How was your day at school today?
It was pretty tiring because I had to wake up really early to get to my school, and it's very new for me because it's the first time I'm waking up so early to go to school. And
At-
I literally fell asleep in the first class for
oh,
not
really?
for long, just for like a few minutes or
A
so.
few minutes, okay. So you woke up at 5 a.m. today, I guess.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, for how many hours did you sleep last night?
I think I went to bed at 11 p.m.
So 6 hours, okay. But they were not enough for you, I guess. If they were not suffice for you. So that's why you fell asleep. Okay,
Hmm.
are you still feeling sleepy or you're fine now?
Maybe I'm fine now.
Did you take a nap afterwards?
No, I couldn't because I was so busy with all the homeworks and our
Hmm.
classes. We have our online classes as well till 2 p.m.
Hmm. Okay, so it's like a double task. You have to go to the school as well, and then you have to take classes from your home also.
Yeah.
Too much. That is too much, of course. Okay, so in the last session, we had a lot of discussion on the reading part and books. Actually, I just went through the audiobook of that particular book.
Hmm.
That mouse one, okay? What was that?
Jour-
Germino something. I
Journey.
forgot it. Wait, Journey, yeah. So
Yeah.
I found it really interesting. I would love to listen to the audiobook for sure because, to be very honest, I don't fancy books with animations. So I can definitely listen something for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
That was
Wow.
good. Yeah, I have downloaded, the audiobook.
Okay.
So whenever
That's
I get time for example, if I'll be cooking in my kitchen, I'll definitely listen to it. Maybe if I'm cleaning my house, I'll definitely do it. So that's the best thing, right?
yeah.
All right. So, okay, we have an interesting topic today, small towns and big cities. I think you'll be able to share ideas in this topic because you
Maybe.
have you have experience. Have you experienced living in a small town?
Means I have lived in Garyaband, but only for a short period of time. I haven't lived there for like more than 3 or 4 months.
Mm-hmm. Short periods, so basically like 3 to 4 weeks,
Maybe like near about 1 month or 1.5 months because of
one
summer
and a half
vacation.
months. Okay. All right. So now tell me, as you have lived in both of the small towns and big cities as well. Raipur is a big city. Have you been to Raipur, by the way? Of course, it's quite nearby.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you been to that Magneto Mall also?
yeah. Once
You
I
know
went.
what? Yeah, the other day, like I think in the year 2022, I was in Raipur, so I went to that mall, Magneto Mall. It was fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it had this beautiful restaurant. I forgot the name. Quite classy. It was very very lavish restaurant. I had coffee over there.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
not getting the name, but yeah, but Magneto Mall was fun. And I also went to Sirpur. Have you heard about Sirpur?
Mm, I have heard, but I have there.
So there's this temple, Lakshman Temple, the only Lakshman temple of the world.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been there. I was totally intrigued by looking at the architecture
Hmm.
and the museum. There was a museum as well. I found it really interesting. I would like to ask you, what is the subtle difference which you see in small towns and big cities? Like,
Uh,
okay, hmm, hmm,
I would say that in big cities we have many facilities. Like there are good roads, there are good schools, hospitals, and all those facilities. But in small towns and small villages, I've seen that those things are not there. Means If you want a specialist doctor, like a very professional and specialized doctor, so you need to get one from the city. And I have noticed that the roads in small places, they're not that good. Means in cities
Mm-hmm.
we can see very developed roads like highways and all
Mm.
that stuff, but small villages and towns, those things are not there.
All
And
right.
in cities we see a lot of development,
Mm-hmm.
like many things are there, like amusement parks, big buildings, factories and all that stuff. So there's a lot of development, but in small towns it is not there. Means there are a few things, but those things are not much. Means those places are not that developed, I would say.
Mm.
And what else? Education, of course, education
Mm.
system in big cities, many schools like private schools, government schools, all those type of schools are there. But in and I would say that in Bhilai, I have seen at least 7 to 8 schools just near my area, my
Okay.
place where I live. So
Mm.
but in villages, I've not seen that many schools. But what should I say? Yeah, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I've not even seen a single school in Garyaband. I haven't
Okay.
seen any.
Really?
Hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think education and health, the most important aspects of a human being, because I think it's quite necessary to have infrastructure, roads, and education and
Hmm.
health also. But in small towns and villages, you usually don't get these, and even if you get, they're not up to that mark. Like you can't really,
Hmm.
get yourself checked up in a very normal kind of a hospital, which doesn't have a lot of facilities and amenities. Okay, but when it comes to
Yeah.
big cities, we have all kinds of facilities. Like you can have an MRI scan, you can go for dialysis and everything. So that's the better part. Oh, now if I talk about the pollution level, what is your take on that?
So for pollution in cities, it is a lot because there are factories and all that
Mm,
stuff which are polluting the
mm,
area, and there are many cars and vehicles on the roads. They also pollute air pollution. And in small villages and towns, I've seen that big factories, they are not there. Means there are a few factories, but they are not
mm-hmm,
much. So that's why the
mm,
pollution is a little less.
mm,
And vehicles, those are also a little less because the population in a small place is less in comparison to a city, a developed city. So that's why
mm-hmm,
vehicles are also less. So that's why there is less pollution. And the nature in small villages and towns, like the trees, the greenery, all that stuff is there. But in cities, we cannot find that stuff that easily. We cannot see like a whole forest area near the city. We Because there's a lot, the trees are cut down because of the development stuff. So that's why the pollution, the environment, these things are totally different in a small place and a
mm.
city.
Absolutely. Okay, speaking of the lifestyle and small towns and big cities, if I ask you what would be your preference? For example, if you get a chance to either live in a small town or a big city. So basically, in both of the situations, you will get every facility, your education, your health, everything. But now, what place would you choose? A small town or a big city, and why?
If I get all the facilities like proper medication, hospital, good education, proper, roads and stuff, all that stuff,
Yeah,
if I get
yeah.
that in a small city or a small
Hmm.
town, I'm
Hmm.
definitely gonna live there because, in big cities, we are getting just farther away from nature and,
Hmm.
trees and stuff, because the trees are being cut down. So in villages and small places, like I have seen a whole range of mountains while coming from
Hmm.
Garyaband back to Bhilai. Like it was
Hmm.
just Risa is here and then Garyaband is here. There's just a mountain dividing that place. So there it's like a natural thing, and we are very close to nature when we are in small places. So I would
Absolutely.
definitely like to be in a village or maybe a small town if all the things and necessities are there.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. If you are provided with all of the facilities, you would definitely go for the village lifestyle, right? Because I think
Hmm.
there's a lack of pollution, and I think you might find that kind of seclusion and that tranquility in that area. Peace,
Yeah.
which is the most important aspect of a human being. So right now, today, like people have a lot of money, they have everything, but they don't have peace of mind.
Hmm.
Like they're constantly thinking about something. So when it comes to, living in a village, I think that could be done. You can
Yeah.
reflect. You can reflect and you can introspect as well. Very well. Okay. Okay. Now, can you tell me, like, in coming 10 years, how will. Okay, so we have heard a lot of terms like smart cities. So, what is your take on smart villages? When I talk about smart villages, what all things can you think of?
Okay, so the first thing that came into my mind was a picture of a village on,
Hmm.
like, just floating. But I don't know why it came to my mind. But
A floating village, literally. All right.
yeah,
Okay, now tell me, yeah.
yeah. So for smart villages, I think that the first thing that should be made is, proper arrangement for water,
Mm-hmm.
hospitals,
Mm-hmm.
schools, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that the government is focused more on cities because they are focused more on the development and stuff, but the villages, there's not much focus there. I know
Mm.
there's focus, means not little, a lot of focus, but in comparison to a city, it's not that much. And I think
Mm.
that for a smart village to be made, I
Mm.
the focus on the village, the development of a village, and factories and vehicles, those production and all that stuff should also be made. So
Mm.
that's I think that should be done first to get
Mm.
a smart village.
Smart village, okay. And if I talk about cities, what all changes can you think of? For example, electric vehicles,
Yeah.
or maybe delivery of your grocery through drones.
Hmm.
Can you think like that? Because I read an article the other day. They said that in Delhi, your grocery will be delivered via drones, and
It's
that's quite scary.
not safe actually, because what if the
Not
drone
safe, yeah.
and you're taking your food, and what if the drone just attacks you? That can be important.
What if they like two drones collide with each other and
Yeah.
your grocery is spoiled?
Yeah.
Now who's responsible for that?
Hmm.
It's a task. Yeah. Actually, I read an article that's why this thing came into my mind. I think it can definitely be done, but there has to be a proper protocol and proper procedure for that. Proper measures should be taken, right? Okay. Have you ever seen an electric vehicle?
No, I
Not
don't know if
yet.
I've seen an electric vehicle or not, but I've seen many vehicles, but I don't know if they're electric or the normal ones.
All right. So usually I'll tell you the how you can distinguish between the two. So you have seen vehicles with the white number plate. They are the private vehicles, okay?
Okay.
And the yellow one, they are commercial. They are taxis and everything. Okay. If you ever see a vehicle with a green number plate,
Hmm.
that's an eco vehicle. For instance, it's an electric vehicle. So now, while going to school or maybe traveling somewhere, if you ever see a vehicle with green number plate, that is an electric vehicle. And you know
Okay.
what? I have driven one electric vehicle, and it doesn't make any sound. So
Oh
no
wow.
noise pollution. So no noise pollution and no air pollution as well. So I think in the coming future, as we have already, utilized and exploited our natural resources when it comes to petroleum, and it's already the prices are, are
Yeah.
rising every day, like 1 rupee, 1.2 rupees, like that. So I think electricity is going to be our savior in the coming years, because we as human beings cannot survive without vehicles. Can you imagine a life like without cars? Of course, you can travel by bus or train, but when it comes to your personal things, you definitely need to have a car,
Yeah.
right? So electric vehicles is the future. Okay, so apart from electric vehicles, what all things can you imagine? Like now, just imagine after 20 years in
Hmm.
Raipur. Okay, we'll talk about Raipur because that's a city, an emerging smart
Yeah.
city. What all things can you imagine, like in Raipur? What all changes would you see after
Mm.
20 years? Now, when you'll be around 30 years or so. How old are you right now?
Uh, 13.
13. Okay, so you'll be around 32, 33. So what
Yeah.
all things can you imagine?
So the first thing that came into my mind was like skyscrapers, like really tall buildings. That's what came into
Hmm.
my mind. And I think
Hmm.
that the number of these buildings would increase very much.
Hmm.
And the fourth thing that came into my mind is the use of drones, like as you just told right now, means the use
Hmm.
of drones and these robots thing and
Hmm.
all to
Hmm.
do the normal human tasks. I think that
Hmm.
would increase a lot because the
Absolutely.
technology is getting better day by day.
Absolutely. So drones
And
and skyscrapers like Dubai. Have you seen any videos of Dubai?
now,
I think you should see because I think that's what you call a smart city because the way they have planned everything, it's beautiful and it's extraordinary. So they made
yeah,
this beautiful city on water. Can you imagine on water they have developed a city and it
wow.
looks like it looks like a palm tree. Beautiful. And each of the residents have their own beaches. Now imagine.
Okay, that's a great
Okay.
thing.
Yeah, that's the kind of technology they're already using. So in India, we can definitely, expect these kind of things to happen in the coming 15 or 20 years, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. And the highways there and everything. I think you should see, a very short vlog for about 10 minutes of Dubai. You can just type on YouTube Dubai in 4K and just put it on full screen and then enjoy. You'll love it.
Okay, I'll definitely
Okay.
try it.
It's amazing. They'll show you everything. You know that there's Burj Khalifa also, the tallest
Yeah,
building in the world, right? Okay. Do you know what's the height of Burj Khalifa?
828 meters.
Absolutely. I think it's only 180 kilometers short of 1 kilometer, like 1,000 meters.
Oh wow.
Only 120 meters short. And I think, you know what? I've heard that people see the sunset from the ground floor first, and then they
Hmm.
go up, and then they see the sunset again. It's that long.
Wow.
Yeah, I've heard this. I really want to experience this. So Dubai is one of my favorite destination where I would want to go and experience the kind of opulence they have because that is one of the most affluent country in the world. Like they have a lot
Yeah,
of money because of the petroleum and everything, right?
yeah.
Okay, if I talk about you, where would you like to go out of India?
Out of India, maybe somewhere in Europe.
Europe. Oh, Europe is beautiful. Be precise. Like tell me a city or something.
Sweden, maybe.
Sweden, yeah. What about Switzerland? Switzerland is also in Europe, I believe. Is it?
Yeah, Switzerland. I feel that Sweden is underrated, so that's why.
Sweden is underrated, of course. Switzerland, we've been, listening to this term, this country's name since our childhood. Switzerland, Switzerland, Switzerland. It's in the movies, it's in the news, it's everywhere.
Yeah, because of the snow and all the nature thing there, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course. Okay, so we have 1 minute left. Okay, I just want to tell you something. Okay, how do you pronounce the word Development?
Development.
Development. Okay, so you're like really close. You should say development. Okay, just try to make a habit of saying development. That is
Okay.
more natural. That is more British, actually.